Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Minutes with M&M. I'm Mena, this is Miss Ann, and we are very excited to have you here. This week we are talking about a season of a show that was phenomenal. We're talking about Queen Charlotte, a Bridgerton Story. So technically it's not season 3, it's like a mini story because it's 6 episodes, but oh my god, it was amazing. Shonda Rhimes, thank you.
See, we are OG Shonda fans. We've been with her since Grey's Anatomy. And I was just telling Mena after I watched it because, well, I couldn't tell her immediately after because obviously I was sobbing. But when I woke up the next morning, I sobbed a little bit more. But like, when I calmed down, I was telling her how like, it just reminded me that Shonda is that girl. Like, she is that woman. And it reminded me of the OG Shonda Rhimes, like, Grey's Anatomy writing. That's like, I was like, yes, talk at my heartstrings. But yeah, all I can say is 10 over 10.
No notes.
Period.
Anyone who's complaining, I need y'all to look inward. Ask what you're looking for that wasn't here, because everything I needed was right there for me.
The chemistry. Oh my god. I was so shy. No, I watched a few scenes like from under my blanket. I was like, oh my god, Des, stop. You called me beautiful. You know when he said she was too beautiful before they got married?
Honestly, from the moment he said, hi Charlotte, I'm George, I said, you're mine. I am yours. Anything you want.
Wow.
I just want to shout out to Shonda specifically because for the other seasons of Bridgerton, it's obviously an adaptation of a book. So even though Shonda has a lot of a part to play in it, it's Julia's writing. But not season 3, but Queen Charlotte's story is a independently produced new work. And Shonda said, you guys, I'm going to give you a romance. I'm going to make you cry. I'm going to talk about race and you're not going to be mad about it. And she was right. No, fantastic. So thank you, Shonda. Keep on doing what you're doing. I'm excited to see if they do like a Violet story because there's a book about her love and Edmund. So you know what? I'm open to it.
Yeah.
But let's start with the core characters, you know? King George and Queen Charlotte. Their love.
I don't know what to say in this video. Like, no, I'm actually speechless. Like, the chemistry.
Also, don't drag me. There's some white boys that you're like, yeah, you're doing the damn thing. And George was doing the damn thing.
If I were Charlotte, I would be like, my mistake. Let's head into the wedding venue right now. Because I could see like both of them were nervous, but like when he saw her and he realized that she was his bride, he had like this smirk. And then when she was like, oh, you're not a troll, like you're actually a human being, you're smart. Okay.
It's so heartbreaking. So he had porphyria, which they didn't know at the time, which is why first fuck his doctor, because that's abuse. Oh my god, I can't. But I'm also like, he didn't even know what he was dealing with.
Yeah.
Medicine in the past, I want to say thank god we are where we are, but you know what, in 50 years I'm gonna look back at what we're doing now and be like, oh my god, that's barbaric. Anyway, it was triggered by like high stress moments and nobody noticed that. They would keep putting him in stressful situations and I felt so bad for Charlotte and so bad for George because like they just want to be together and be happy and illness is stopping it from happening.
Yeah.
But she was great. She gets married when she's 17 and honestly, she handled all of that so much better than I would have when I was 17.
I would have walked away. Like, no, even from the first wedding night, I would go back to that fence to jump it. Because, like, just the level of maturity and, like, composure that she had. I think she also fell in love with him from the first time she, like, saw him.
And I don't blame her because I also fell in love with him from the first time I saw him. So we're all in this together,
But it's like, how far can love go when you're dealing with so much adversity? Like, even the people around him didn't know what was good for him and like we're still putting him under much stress. The way that she had to take over his entire life.
No, but okay, on that note, shout out to Reynolds. Okay, Reynolds and Brimsley. I love them both. They're so cute. I love them as a couple, but independently, I love how much that they cared for the person that they were working for. So Brimsley with Charlotte, but Reynolds trying to go into the room with the doctor and trying to fight to get George out of there.
Look, this video is going to be very different because like we're just in our feelings and we just watched it like 2 days ago. So it was, no notes. Like no notes. It was amazing, and like I liked the love story between Brimsley and Reynolds. And
me too. That scene where he's dancing to "I Will Always Love You" by himself when he's older, crying, like just sobbing in my bed,
like ugly tears.
And so the thing is that they left it open, right? So in theory, Reynolds could be alive. Maybe they broke up, or maybe he died. And I don't know what is worse for me. I think I'd rather he was dead, but maybe he like died last year and they got to have a whole life together. Because if they broke up and Reynolds is just walking around with King George, I'm gonna...
You know Shonda, right? Look, we need to learn from the past.
No.
Right?
No.
We watched Grey's Anatomy, so he's dead.
No, but you know when Charlotte asked him, she's like, do you have a family? Did you get married? I'm just like, first of all, babe, you're a little bit self-involved. How do you not know this? But it was just so sad when Brimsley's like, you know, who would have me with all the time that I'm here? I'm like, Brimsley, you deserve the world. Because young Brimsley, obviously older Brimsley is her confidant. They've been together for decades. But young Brimsley, the little ways he tried to help her, trying to give her hints like, oh, you can run away to here, or this is what you can do.
Yeah.
He was so great.
I'm so grateful for him, because without him, Charlotte would have truly been alone.
Yeah.
Like, it's such a lonely journey being like loving someone with like a mental illness like that, especially when you don't have like enough friends around you and you are supposed to be the queen and all of that. So the fact that Brimsley was with her throughout the entire journey, and like they actually know each other so well now, like they actually trust each other so much now, and like just seeing her like even as she's older now, like still alone, but she still has him, always 5 steps behind, and it's like
No, but what you just said about the fact that it was consistent, because like if Brimsley had died 10 years ago and now she has some new guy who doesn't know her history, who wasn't there when she was with George, who doesn't understand, that would be so tough on her. So I'm glad, because even when, you know, she was like, I'm sorry, a good mom, and Brimsley was like, so ma'am, some notes.
You are a great queen. No, but a good mother. You are a great queen.
No, but I really, really appreciate Brimsley, which is so crazy because when I was watching the original Bridgerton, I did not pay any attention to Brimsley's character.
Yeah.
And now, like, every season, I'm going to be looking out for him. Like, are you okay? Are you well taken care of?
Everybody, it was a heartbreaking story, but it was also an epic love story in the best of ways. So, only Shonda can do that.
No, facts. And the callbacks were amazing. So you talk about crying and falling apart. So obviously at the end of the season, Charlotte gets under the bed and she tells me, you know, let's hide from the heavens. And she talks to me and she says, you know, we're having a grandchild. Side note, that grandchild is Queen Victoria. So yes, Charlotte is talking about the grandchild that they'll actually be proud of and not anyone else. But just saying, you know, your line is going to continue, and he says our line. So first of all, the callback and George loving her and being like, we're in this together, we're a team. I love it. But I like that moment so much because it really shows what Brimsley said, that we're all here to serve the king. And like, even though Charlotte had 14 children with this man, he was still her priority. Like, her priority wasn't her kids, it wasn't being queen. It was like, I'm doing this for you. I'm harassing our kids every day to have a child so that your line will continue.
Yeah.
And like, she just loved him so much. And it's not necessarily admirable how it took precedence over everything else in her life. But you know what? Maybe that's what happens when you find true love. Maybe that's it. You just have that love. And that's what keeps you going.
I know.
Because she was still pretty lonely as an adult. Like, she, you know, so in season 1, I believe, maybe season 2, there's a scene where she's like, is the king dead? And it kind of reads like, oh, she wants him to die. She doesn't care about him. But I like that we see in this season of the show that when she says, is the king dead, it's not excitement. She's scared. Like, she doesn't want him to die. And like, she loves him so much.
Yeah.
Also, I not to sound like a perv, but I'm here for the sex scenes, guys. It was giving what needed to be given.
Imagine having sex with that guy every other day.
You know, at a point she said, actually, it doesn't even have to be every other day. It's just
every day. Oh my god.
No, but they're ridiculous. You know, when they started having weird hate sex and the like, all the guards were just like, what do we do? What do we do?
Oh my gosh.
But I love it. I'm glad that they had their moments of joy, because I feel like the difficult moments must have been so hard, especially like, you know, we only saw one of her pregnancies from beginning to end. I don't know if we're going to see the other 13, but I kind of, especially the further on, the older they got, like by the time she was pregnant with like 10, 11 and his memory's not working, like, are you missing these details? Am I basically just by myself?
Yeah.
Charlotte was really doing everything she had to do, because Princess Augusta, so George's mom, I don't actually have any resentment towards her because I understand her situation explicitly. Like even when she gave more context about how her father-in-law, the other king, used to beat her and George, I wasn't surprised because even when she was manipulating everything, they like the members of the cabinet were still like, "You're a woman." Like she's trying to protect her son. She's trying to make things work. And let's be clear, the great experiment, race is so funny in this world. But what she was doing is a good thing, trying to like move the society forward and integrate different races of people. So like, even though she was kind of snooty to Charlotte and she definitely had a lot of racism going on, she said she's a bit brown. That being said, I understood why she was the way she was and what she was trying to accomplish. And it couldn't have been easy for her as a widow that nobody took seriously.
Yeah, she was really doing the best she could. And like, even when she was being annoying, even when she was trying to get Lady Danbury to tell her stuff, you could tell that she truly was concerned.
Yeah. Like she was looking out for her son first and foremost. And as a mother, I can't even fault her. Like, what's she gonna say? No, fuck my kid? Like, no, she knew what she wanted. We've mentioned Lady Danbury, so we did talk about her. I said no notes. So this isn't a note, it's just like a comment. Did it have to be Violet's dad?
I don't mind that at all.
I
don't mind that. Things happen, man.
If it was any other married man, I would have been fine with it. It made their dynamic feel a bit icky to me because now we're close friends, but I fucked your dad. Like, oh.
You see, it's not gonna be a Shonda show without a weird thing going on. So.
Because then
I just had to let it go.
I guess because Violet was really upset when she suspected. My girl brought out all the hats to ambush Lady Danbury. She was like, "Hi, Agatha. Is there something you want to tell me?" She really wanted to know, and I'm like,
"Yeah.
Will this make you happy? Finding out that your dad cheated on your mom?"
Also, shout out to Lady Danbury because she was an OG secret keeper. Because there were so many times that like there was so much pressure on her and her own situation that I thought she was going to start selling out Charlotte or something, but she really knows how to, keep secrets, and she kept that secret about Violet's dad till the end. She said, "Yeah, there was one man. It was Adolphus."
Yes, Adolphus was beautiful. Who are you referring to?
But just her story is so heartbreaking because I wanted to slap because every time she was like, "Oh my god, we did it," it's like, "Yeah, I did it." I'm like,
but you know what?
The restraint she has.
I am so two things. First of all, I love the consistency in all the characters. Like Violet, Agatha, Charlotte as children, as adults. I'm like, yep, this is you. This is how you begin. Agatha is my queen because at all stages in her life, she is just fighting so hard and doing the best she can. Yeah. And she is so smart, like immediately so intelligent. Like even at the wedding, the second she sees Charlotte as the bride, she's like, "Oh, that's why we're invited." Like she thinks 5 steps ahead. And I love how strong she is. And I also like that she had a shitty situation because I love the show and I know it's about love makes you happy and everything. But realistically speaking, a lot of these girls were getting married off at young ages for money reasons. They had no control in their life. They didn't fall in love with a handsome, age-appropriate man who treated them like a queen and was ready to destroy their life for them.
And I love that it was mentioned that she was rich. Yeah, she was rich. It's not like, oh, you should be grateful for him because you're not used to this life before. No, this is something I have to do with
just because I have a vagina.
Exactly.
Like, my parents weren't poor. When she talked about her, I love that, by the way, when she was telling her sons, like, you're not only the son of your father, you're a son of, we are warriors and we win. I said yes, queen. But yeah, it wasn't a situation of desperation. It was just, your value is less as a woman. So what you can bring to this family is marrying a rich man. So that's why at 3 years old, her parents just bequeathed her to a man. And I really like that.
3 years old. Oh my god. Also, shout out to her servant lady.
Look, my girl. Okay, so this is the thing. Yeah, I thought that we were gonna find out that she was lesbian. I thought she and her girl were having a little. And I was really excited for it because they worked together so closely. And you know how excited they were when her husband died. I'm like, oh my god, you get to be with her girl.
That was one of my favorite scenes ever. They're like, are you ready to act? Let's do it.
And I love it so much because they've clearly talked about it before. And obviously, Lord Bunbury was significantly older. He was obviously going to die first. So they had probably just spent years fantasizing, don't worry, he's going to die, you're going to be free. So she comes out, she's like, we don't have to do that again. And they are over the moon. And I love that.
And I love that she took a hot bath every time because I would want to, I don't even know, like, how can you wash away? Oh my god, I don't even want to get into it.
No, but I really appreciated that. I like, a lot of Bridgerton is like, oh, you're supposed to be happy. Because even like in the regular seasons, Penelope's sisters well, at least one of them, is like finding actual true love. Like, there are very few main characters who are getting married off to someone they don't want to, and even then, that the person is terrible. So even with Marina, yes, the guy who got her pregnant actually loved her, wanted to be with her. Yes, he died, but his brother is a really nice guy who's taking care of her, and he's smart. Like, we're not seeing the main characters getting married to awful men or being in terrible situations. I don't want trauma porn. I'm not saying that I want to see that, but I think it's important for us to remember that the girls we're seeing are the outliers, and that for most of the women, they're in a shitty situation. So when Eloise is doing too much, or when people are saying don't do this, it's because there are real ramifications for being a woman in their society.
That is why I really, really loved this story. It was just really real. And I know that there's some controversy out there and people are complaining. First of all, fuck you, you are wrong. And you're just wrong. But then I'm glad to be taken out of my fantasy. And that, in fact, that was fantasy for me. Like, that is fantasy. Like, sue me. Like, I actually loved everything about it. I loved every single character. Like, that's very rare. Like, there's some characters I'm just like, why are you here? But like Lady Danbury, I love to see her backstory. I loved the budding friendship between them in the future, even though it was weird when I found out about the dad. But yeah, everything about it was just so amazing.
I also find it very interesting in a good way that they showed that, even though they are the protagonists and we love Agatha and we love Charlotte, they are very flawed people. And Charlotte is a bit easier because in the first 2 seasons of Bridgerton, you're kind of like, she's kind of ditzy or she's kind of self-obsessed and she's very controlling. But like, just finding out how they are as mothers, especially based on the way they were raised, like Charlotte's parents died and then she was shipped as a teenager to focus on being a wife. Agatha grew up knowing that she was just going to be a wife, and then she had children for a man she hated. Like, that must be so difficult. Like, how are you really going to connect to your kids? I like seeing that because sometimes it's just like, there are scars you carry with you no matter how strong you are. And even though everything has turned out great and you are the Lady Danbury and you're out here, getting people to do what you want, you have your own demons that you've dealt with. And I appreciated seeing that, even though they both love their kids. But Queen Charlotte's kids standing up to her, I really appreciated that. Yeah. Even though her dragging them was the best thing to me.
Sorrows.
She said virgins to the left of me, horse to the right. My babe was dragging her kids every single day, and it was entertaining as hell.
Yeah. What did you think about her brother?
I liked her brother, and I thought what he said made perfect sense, and his behavior made sense for the time he was. At the end of the day, he loves his sister, but she's still just a woman. And what he said about, like, it is the British Empire. They came and they asked for you. Am I going to say no? Like, God knows what they're going to do to us. I like that he came to see her and that we saw that he was kind of progressive for the time, but not really. Because that's way more realistic. I feel like a lot of the guys, like Anthony's like, Kate, anything you want to do, I support that. You would still have to sit in the house quietly.
Exactly. I love that he was like, oh, thank God I didn't want to have to stand up for anything here. Like, please.
And I actually really liked him and Lady Danbury. Obviously, they weren't going to get together because we see Lady Danbury, still Lady Danbury in the future. But I like that he liked her. He wasn't looking for like some docile wife. And he was, I'm going to raise your kids as mine and everything. I'm just like, you know what? You're doing what has to be done.
Yeah, but it's so sad though, like that Lady Danbury is just done with marriage. And that's what it does to you. Like, just days and days and months and years of just having to deal with that horrible person. You're just like, you know what? I'm free.
Do you know what? I also like that it was consistent. So even in the future, when Queen Charlotte was trying to figure out how to marry off her kids, you have Violet on one side that's like, love is amazing, marriage is great. And even though it's been 40 years, Lady Danbury's like, no, marriage is a prison and it's terrible. And it's like, it doesn't matter that she has seen other people happy. She knows that what she went through was terrible and she can't really say marriage is all that. And I really like that consistency because what she went through was, oh my, I cannot even. That was terrible for her.
Yeah.
Also, something that I really liked was that all the people of color have their little like group in the past. Like when they all showed up to Lady Danbury's house and they're like, look, I know you're sad. I know your husband is done, but we need to, as a group, figure out what's going on.
Yeah, I like that. And when Charlotte asked George to show up for
Miss Anne was emotionally destroyed by this show.
It was, and then his mom said that
he he's never been that happy before.
Thank you. I can't. It was amazing. Like,
It was, look, the storytelling was great. I really appreciated the way they brought back some information from the earlier seasons, because something that I had a complaint about in season 1 was when Lady Danbury was talking to Simon and she goes, oh, people like us weren't able to be in the ton before Charlotte got married to George. And everybody was like, that was a weird racial thing to throw into this show for no reason. So if they had to stick with that, I'm glad with them showing us how it happened, the reason it happened, and how important it is. Because fuck Simon's dad forever. But now I understand why he was being so crazy about the whole, I need to have a son to pass on my legacy to. Like, yes, he's terrible, but now I get it. Because he was, he was one of the people standing in front talking to Agatha when they were asking questions. Yeah. And I guess part of his thought process was, we just got this, and in a generation, we're going to lose it if I don't have an heir. Does it make his behavior okay? No. But at least I was able to, comprehend why he was being so horribly shitty. And it makes Simon's behavior more understandable, too. You know how he was like, I will not have a child to spite my father. Yeah. It's like, that sounds so insane, but seeing what it took to get it and how important it was to his dad, it's like, okay, this will actually from the grave hurt your dad. I see it now.
Yeah, and also, you can also see how it was just for show. Like, they didn't really expect it to really unite the town, because when Lord Danbury died, Princess Augusta was just like, what title? This is your son. And she's like, no, this is Lord Danbury. And like, no, this is your son. And it was a whole back and forth. And if she didn't have the queen or the king on her side, then it would have just kind of gone back to what it was before.
No, Lady Danbury was a hard worker. She was showing up places. She was making speeches. My girl said, bring some charcoal and paper. I need to draw sex for this girl. And again, we've talked about this before. Women being put in situations where they don't even know what sex is. They don't know how babies are born. And when she asked, she's like, oh, is childbirth painful? Baby, you are very pregnant. You're going to find out. Like, no.
Exactly.
It's crazy. Also, there were a couple of scenes that stood out to me, but George talking to the bishop and saying, do you like being the Archbishop of Canterbury? Because you're upsetting me right now. I said yes. Yes. A king.
Love everything.
Oh, a man.
You're so right about not knowing what's going to happen, though. Even when he was trying to say, okay, why do you want me to stay here at the wedding night? She was just like, I don't know, because
it's the wedding night.
This is how it should be. But what are we going to do? The marital act. What is the marital act?
Listen, please, you know what I mean. It's very frustrating that these women were in this situation, but I like that they all did better. So Agatha immediately showed Charlotte. Charlotte said she drew it for her daughter. She said you knew exactly what was coming. So they're all trying to be better than the people before them, which is great. And of course, Violet is the one who didn't tell Daphne what the sex act, how it worked was, because she had a fun little upbringing and married the love of her life. It was great to see some additional characters, even though I didn't love that Lady Danbury ends up hooking up with Violet's dad. I did like seeing a bit of her childhood. Her mom, I hated her so much. I wanted her mom to fall down and die.
Yeah.
She was so awful.
That's why I think it's because of my hatred for the mom that I was really on board with the walks and everything. Yeah, because I just wanted them to be together, because she was grieving this man and she really needed that, and he was just really trying to escape this woman. And so to me, it was like, fuck you. Anything to make the mom sad
was a win for you.
Was a win for me. So I was like, yes. But I also like that it was just a one-time thing, and he was like, no, I can't do this.
About the grief, I think it's really great that Lady Danbury actually grieved. She was like, I didn't think I was going to grieve. And I love that, because feelings are complex, and that guy was a part of her life since she was a child. It's not just he's dead and I'm over with it. That being said, the relationship, Violet's parents is actually part of what made me so upset about the relationship, because I'm like, when your wife is saying racist shit in the house, you just sit there quietly yes, Dan, you're reading the newspaper, but when it's time to have sex with a black woman, you can do it. You don't want Violet to pick up these horrible things about your mom, but you're not going to speak up except for when it's in secret. And let's be clear.
Well, I think he trained her to think otherwise, because she was really she was going in on the mom. The mom was like, that's too much thinking. Why are you thinking?
I mean, it's great that she Violet grew up that way, but it was kind of pussy energy from her dad, because at the end of the day, the guy has all the power in the relationship. You could just tell her to stop saying these things in the house, and she has to obey you because you're the lord of the house.
That's true.
I guess it just icked me out. It's like you won't defend her in private, and when you're
soft man.
Weak shit. But fine, men will be men. Whatever. It's cool.
Oh my god, and the paper hats was so cute.
It was so cute. I love that Violet continued that tradition with her kids, and just,
Shout out to loyal servants. Pearl for Agatha and Brimsley for Charlotte and Reynolds. Like
even Violet's nanny that was like saying, "Don't say these things outside," but you're thinking the right thing.
It's shout out to everyone.
Like maybe this show is reinforcing my belief in the class system. That's not great, but loyal servants slap.
No, because the love that Reynolds had for the king. He was like, no, Charlotte would never know. It's both of us in this thing together.
It's so cute because he really picked protecting the king over his relationship.
Yeah.
And that's crazy because it's not like there were a bunch of gay guys running around. He was willing to sacrifice a relationship with, one, a man that was gay that he knew was gay that was willing to be with him. But two, a man that he had a reason to see regularly because he was working for the queen.
Yeah.
Like what if the other gay guy walks on the other side of the city at the mill? You're never going to see him.
Remember when he came to Buckingham Palace and he was waiting for her at dinner and he was getting nervous?
Yes,
and
he put his hand on his shoulder. No, I loved it. I loved seeing Charlotte get tired of walking around and being by herself. They changed her to eat dinner. I'm alone in this house. Who cares how I look? Also, shout out to her dresses and her hair. Her hair every time she wore a crown, everything for me. I loved it. I think it was such a necessary addition to the show. I know it was new information. I don't care. I loved it.
Yes, it was just so layered, and it's like people think royalty is all fun and vibes, and it's like, oh, you're royal, you're rich, you have all this money, but like you are a spectacle. Like you are not like a person anymore. You can't pick your own oranges. You can't pick your own oranges, and it can be lonely as hell.
Like I'm sympathetic, but my sympathy is capped. Like I'd rather be a royal than I'd rather be like the queen than a poor girl. So
I mean that's fair.
Because, my problems are I can't pick an orange.
But yeah, but like, again, she didn't want this. That's the thing, right?
That's true. I mean,
she could have just gone home. She wanted to go home so many times.
That's true. I think the sympathy I have for her is that it wasn't her choice. So if it was, like, with Daphne, I have little sympathy for Daphne in season 1 because you asked Simon to marry you.
What was she complaining about?
She was like, you don't have kids. He told you that. Like, this is your choice. But with Charlotte, it's more about you didn't choose to be here and it's a complex situation for you. So definitely that is definitely sympathetic.
Yeah, because when people said, like, when her brother kept saying that, like, there's worse fates, and that's fine. Other people are always going to have problems, but that doesn't make her problems any less her problems, right? Mm-hmm. Like, it was giving, like, oh, yeah, you're going to be queen. And I'm like, that's great, but she didn't ask for this. Like, you could have left her at home.
That's true.
Like, you guys were well off at home.
That's true, because they're part of a royal family. So some of those things, like, the reason you're upset is because you would have been queen in your little area or a princess and it would have been nice for you. But hey, it worked out. She got to be with the love of her life. And yes, it was difficult with the memory and the, bursts of episodes that he had. But you guys have 14 kids. And look, Charlotte was not having a hard time making those babies, okay? She was having fun.
Even days, odd days, any day.
She could have stopped at 5. She did not have to have 14. She wanted to keep going. So
let her do the marital act. It's her duty as a wife and a mother.
I'm screaming.
But yeah, loved the depiction of mental health. And I love that Charlotte went the direction of not trying to fix it as in, he's broken. It's like his happiness is all that matters more than his sanity to me. And I think that was I think she really understood that it was stress and everything on his shoulders. And I'm like, why did his mother not? Anyways, it's fine.
So technically porphyria isn't like a mental health illness. It's like enzymatic or whatever. It's whatever. Now you can manage it with drugs and diet and whatever. But I do like the way she handled it. It's less of we have to fix you and more of how can we accommodate. With her even saying, okay, we're going to bring them to the house since you can't go to Parliament, which is really how you should address those kind of things. So I was glad to see that. I liked it. I feel like we've said I liked it so much, but that's the truth. We liked the show. It was really good. Netflix did a fantastic job. My only fear is that they're going to kill Charlotte for 2 reasons. One, she wasn't in the books. And 2, the real Queen Charlotte dies soon. So I feel like they're giving us all this content so that when they kill her in season 4, we can be really sad. And please don't kill her. Just don't do that. Just keep her. She's so great. And nobody wants to see her sons, bro. Nobody's interested in seeing her sons be king. So if you're Shonda or Netflix, keep her. The actress is great. She adds so much to the story. And it's fun to have her in the background being like a little meddling agent when it's time for the couples to get married. And she's like, no, I'm not entertained. Make it extra. Anyways, it was a great season, and because of the season, now the scenes of grown-up Charlotte with George hit so much more. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
Is there anything you want to add? Is there anything you hope to see potentially?
No, I have no notes. Again, it was perfect. I'm just gonna rewatch this over and over again.
Let us know in the comments. Is there something we missed? Is there something that you want to criticize that you're like, actually, this wasn't great? Is there something that we didn't praise enough? Because if so, go down there, tell everybody about how great the show was, because it was mwah, chef's kiss. Thank you so much for watching this, guys. We really appreciate it. Like, subscribe, comment in whatever order you like. Follow us on Twitter, all those things. And look out for new videos coming out weekly.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Bye.
Bye.